Yeah, you should be on that side so they can see you on the camera. And you're going to be on those headphones still. You're still going to be on those headphones. Yeah.
It's gone. Okay.
No, you hook those up. Those might work in that jack, right? Right your right leg, right knee.
Right there. Sorry.
Good. I can't hear anything though.
Can't hear any?
What? Wait.
Use this right here. That's the thing. Like this is y'all gotta. Use that.
Okay.
There we go.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheap ass headphones don't work in that another chat. Showtime.
You got Justin under the NRV? Yeah. It's a nice picture. Hey, Justin. Let's go. Thank you.
Got it.
What? You see right here?
Y'all ready?
Yep.
3, 2.
Welcome to another jam-packed edition of the Headline Eye. I am your host, Larry H. Gardner. This is Wednesday, March 24th, 2021, on a 65-degree day in March. We're getting close to Easter. We're also getting close to the City of Cleveland Mayoral's race. And my guest is in the building, along with my co-host is in the building, Lizala Peary, the queen of Simply Stunnings of Simply Stunning Media. How are you today?
I'm great, Larry. We've got a great weather day going and great guest. How are you?
I'm fine. So before I bring the guest on, first of all, we have problems with the Colorado shooting. Pretty much there's been a shooting in Boulder, Colorado. The supermarket, 10 people dead. Unfortunately, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, we need gun control. I understand handguns, but we need to really get a control on not having assault rifles. And I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Also, we got my man, the human T-Rex, in the building working the ones and twos as well. 216-249-6658 is the number to call in. We are on www.WNRV1081.com, where we get on your Nerv Djs Network in the building. Yeah, problem with shooting people is that you kill them with assault rifles. And we need not worry about certain wannabe gurus cheating on their wives. We will bring that up before we bring our guest on. But they found the person who killed these people. They released his name. The Colorado police released his name today. So what is the thing about it is like, what do you think his excuse was?
Well, I remember it was something crazy, but I don't remember his exact excuse. I'm so sorry. I fell down on the job, Larry.
I don't think there is one killing 10 people in the supermarket, but the survivors survived. Thank God they survived, and this was not, whew. I'm just glad they're here. I'm just glad they survived, pretty much. I'm glad they're here. I'm so glad they survived, for real. It's like, this is crazy.
Well, what's really crazy, though, is we've had 7 shootings in 7 days, and I'm really wondering if there's something more. Like, is this part of the larger MAGA plan? Like, what's really going on?
Right.
And I know they say that one of them, there was a mental health issue where he was trying to get something, and he just kind of went crazy and shot everyone. But I still wonder, is there a larger MAGA plan going on?
You mean make America great again or gross again?
Gross again.
Right, that plan. I understand that. But we gotta get, we need, there's a mental health, there's a divide, there's these crazy people still talking about the election was rigged and yeah. Listen, for all you MAGA people, it's over. Your guy lost. Get over it. Find a hobby. Jump in the lake. Do something. Just get off this high horse. It's over. He's not coming back. I don't care if he makes a new social media platform. He is not coming back. The orange one is gone. I'm not even going to say his name, because if I say his name, I'm going to throw up. And I just had some great food from Sam Sips and Zanzibar, so I don't want to throw that up. Thank you very much. But speaking of throw up, Derek Jackson, the self-proclaimed, self-crowned king of, that cat. Thank you, T-Rex, for dropping him like a bad habit. Has found out he had an affair on his wife with multiple women over a couple 10-year span. How he was exposed, he blocked one from social media, Snapchat, or pretty much everything else that you can, and she exposed him. And then when he came out with his wife, and about it, by the way, he made a video with him and her and saying that, he spoke with himself in the third person. And then it was weird. And then he did another video after he did the video with her in his car saying that, in the third person, saying that trying to separate himself from, after he bashed John Gray for cheating, Pastor John Gray, after he bashes other African-American men for cheating. But you say stay away from guys that cheat. Well, you're pretty much telling the women to stay away from guys like you. Should his wife leave him, Lazala? Do you think? Your opinion?
Oh, probably should have a while ago, because listening to him over the years, I didn't really realize people were taking him all that seriously, because I never did. But, excuse me, he says while he's doing his videos, oh, and I know because I've been there, or I take it from me.
Right.
I have experience in this. And so I'm surprised when I go to his website, I see all his books are sold out, all his games, Mentally Stimulate Me, everything is sold out. So these women have been buying all this stuff from this guy who has admitted that he's a cheat, and this is how you avoid people like me. I think that's kind of,
it's you know what, I'm going to say this, for anybody that's in the minority still defending this dude, because he's getting drugged, like, taking it, like, I'm going to say this, taking advice from Derek Jackson, like, now, as far as relationships, is like taking advice from Ozzy Osbourne, as taking animal cruelty tips from Ozzy Osbourne after he bit the head off a bat after his concert. So, yeah.
Not only that, I've researched Derek in the past few days, and I see he went to Tuskegee Institute. It doesn't say what he studied.
Right.
So he has a bachelor's degree. But I don't know what actually qualifies him to tell women about relationship advice, because there's no MS or DR behind that name. So I'm wondering why women are flocking to an internet guy who has no real credentials for this kind of thing.
Because some of them like the dark skin and the big eyes. That's why.
It's fun to look at. Giving them money is a whole other thing.
Hey, like, well, by the way, my Cash App is LHD3131. If you could just throw some money over here, that would be great. Exactly. Thank you.
Yes, support Larry.
Right, speaking, like, we want people to tell the truth, and Derek Jackson has not been telling the truth about his relationship, so that really pretty much, in my eyes, makes him a hypocrite. And I'm going to say that over and over again, just like some of these politicians, just like these self-help gurus. Watch what you buy and watch who you vote for. Speaking of candidates, we got one right now in here that is going to tell the truth, whether he likes it or not. Please, T-Rex, put on the entrance music right about now. We're about to bring this brother in, because I've been waiting to get him on the show for a while now. So, please welcome The City of Cleveland mayoral candidate. This brother has been everywhere and anywhere that you wanted to be. He wants to touch the sky and be your next mayoral candidate, your next mayor of the City of Cleveland. Please welcome my friend Justin M. Bibb in the studio today while we playing Touch the Sky. Thank you very much, Justin, for coming in. Please lean up to the mic and talk.
Thank you for having me, man. Especially bringing out that old Kanye. I got really excited with that track. Man.
Right, yeah. We had
put that on the campaign playlist.
Oh, go right ahead. I have no problem with that. So, what's going on with you, man? Why do you want to run for you've been on boards of various nonprofits, profits, things of that nature. Why do you want to run for mayor of Cleveland?
Listen, Larry, I was born and raised in Mount Pleasant on 121st and Dove, and when I think about all the love that this city poured into me, knowing where I came from, but when I think about the challenges we face as a city, poorest big city in America right now, the least connected in terms of the digital divide, the worst city in this country for black women. And so I just have a sense of urgency about the problems we see in our city. And for far too long, we've had old, stale ideas and leadership, and we got to catch up to the rest of the world. You know, Pittsburgh is kicking our butts right now. So Akron's doing some great things that is far ahead of us on economic development. Columbus, Cincinnati. And so we got a whole lot more to work to do to make sure that Cleveland can truly be one of the best mid-sized cities in America. And in a post-COVID-19 world, we have all the assets to do it, but we just have to reject the stale status quo. And that's why I'm running to be the next mayor of the city that I love. Okay.
Now, the thing about it is, list some of your qualifications for running for the city, for mayor of the city of Cleveland. What have you done?
Yeah.
Just list those. I mean, we don't just make a short speech spiel. This is only a 2-hour show.
Yeah, well, currently right now I serve as the Chief Strategy Officer for Urbanova, a national nonprofit focused on helping cities across the country use data and technology to address issues around environmental justice and economic inclusion. Prior to that, I served as Vice President of Key Bank, advising a $1.7 billion business across the country. And then I also served as the head of global cities at Gallup, a global consulting company, working with mayors across the country. And just yesterday, actually, was my last day on the board of RTA. I served on the board for the last 2.5 years. And I got my real start, though, working for President Obama when he was in the U.S. Senate as a freshman in college. And so I worked in government, I worked in the nonprofit world, I worked in the private sector. And I believe not only do I have the lived experience as a kid from Mount Pleasant, but also the management experience being an executive to help lead a $1.8 billion corporation with 8,100 employees to lead our city into the future.
All right. So pretty much, as far as Key Bank, what made you do the nonprofits? Pretty much, what made you do nonprofits?
Well, you know, a couple things on that point, Larry. When I saw COVID-19 hit our community, particularly in the Southeast side, you know, I got a number of calls from local ministers, small business owners, and residents, and they really wanted to figure out how do they get more resources during COVID-19, because the information gaps that existed, you know, folks wanted to apply for COVID relief dollars, but they didn't know who to call. Folks wanted to apply for a PPP loan, but they didn't have a banking relationship, or they didn't know how to call the bank. And essentially, that's the role of local government. And so my nonprofit, one of my nonprofits, Cleveland Can't Wait, stepped up to really help a group of small businesses in the southeast side of Mount Pleasant, get them connected to digital resources so they can have a website to sell their products and goods online, so they can actually have email accounts, so they can send an email to a bank and apply for a loan. So these are basic fundamental aspects of business building that a lot of our businesses across our city, particularly in the southeast side, are struggling to get. And so we have so much work to do to meet our residents and meet our neighborhood-based businesses where they are. And we got to make sure we're using all the best tools and ideas and technologies to do that, to bring these communities back.
Pretty much helping small businesses live their best lives.
Absolutely, man.
All right.
Absolutely.
Lazala, you have something to say?
So, yeah, that leads right to the question I really been wanting to ask you.
Absolutely.
We've been building up downtown, and we've been building up University Circle. So what plans do you have for all the folks in between?
I frankly want to have a Marshall Plan to bring back the forgotten neighborhoods and the east side of our city. So what can that look like? Well, between 2008 to nearly 2018, we spent about $10 billion of concentrated economic investment to bring back downtown and some of the other trendier neighborhoods, Tremont, Ohio City, Detroit, Shoreway.
Right, the West Side, pretty
right?
much.
But we haven't had that same parity of investment on the Southeast side. And so we're getting ready to have $541 million. Let me say that, nearly over $500 million coming to Cleveland right now, thanks to the leadership of President Biden and Vice President Harris. And I think those investments can be a starting point to have catalytic investment to bring back Mount Pleasant, Lee Harvard, and Buckeye. So a community land trust, right, to give residents of those communities the tools to buy back the block so they can start to build community wealth. You think about innovative programs we're seeing in other cities like Pittsburgh and Stockton and Baltimore, where they're looking at universal basic income pilots, right, to give working class folks in the poorest big city in America, right, a hand up so they can achieve their economic potential and destiny. Could really go a long way. You got 31 cities across the country exploring this kind of economic relief. It's past time we add potentially Cleveland to that list. And this isn't about handouts. I want to say that. But this whole notion of you got to pick yourself up by your boots. But folks need some boots.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You can't have you can't right. You can't, like MLK said, Martin Luther King said, you're telling people to pick themselves by off the bootstraps. They don't have any boots for the straps to go on.
And this is about dignity and
Right.
giving people the hope and the confidence that this city believes in them and that they can achieve their potential. And I've seen it in my own life through a lot of sacrifice from my mama, Charlene, through my dad, who unfortunately passed away 4 years ago, and my grandma, Sarah, who's still on Mount Pleasant right now. And it's that level of sacrifice and resilience that really is my why, and that motivates me to become the next mayor of Cleveland.
So you're a young man.
Yeah.
And
don't let the baby face fool you.
All right, so I understand it.
For next month, my birthday, April 26th.
Wow, that's what's up. So
I'm gonna put my cash up out there.
right, exactly. You don't need to. You ran Key Bank, bro. You ran one of the biggest banks ever. Yeah, he was part of that. But the question that I have for you is that this has been the one thing is the reason why there's a lot of voter apathy in the city of Cleveland is because, and I was kidding with your friend here, because, but really no joke, the city council people, one who was under federal indictment, Councilman Ken Johnson, and there's some other people who are pretty much have done some unbalanced things while they've been on city council. How do you, if you were elected mayor of Cleveland, how would you combat that and get the voters to vote for you? Because there's a lot of, like we talked about with Derek Jackson, the lack of trust is not there. So how do you get the voters to trust you to vote for you?
The first thing we got to do is we have to prioritize democracy building and talking to voters beyond just an election. Most of the time, you don't see politicians in this community until it's election time. And when you think about the culture of voter suppression and anti-democratic efforts in the city, of course folks don't want to vote. When voters mobilized to try to get a $15 minimum wage on the ballot, what happened? The city suppressed the vote and said no. And regardless how you feel about the Q deal, and I'm all for economic development, but I want to see economic development and jobs that benefit the neighborhoods where I came from.
Exactly.
Because they haven't seen a lot of investment in a long time. Voters wanted to have a say on that. What did the city do? The city said no.
Suppressed it.
So why would I vote? The fact that for over 90 years, we've been one of the only cities in this country that doesn't have public comment. So if my grandma wanted to go down to City Hall to talk about the issues that she saw in her community, she can't go and give her viewpoint or her perspective. And that's a shame. Yeah. That's a shame. So we have to start giving people a reason to vote. And what we've seen over the last couple of years, especially in 2020, that mayors matter. In terms of COVID-19 relief, making sure we get the vaccine in some of our hardest hit neighborhoods, especially our communities of color, making sure we have a strategy that's focused on the people, and the people have a seat at the table in terms of how we're going to spend this COVID-19 relief money coming from the Biden administration. mayors play a leading role in setting those priorities and setting that strategy. And as mayor, I'm going to work my butt off to make sure that I am in every church, every town hall, every community event. So I want people to get sick and tired of seeing me around the city. That's the kind of mayor I intend to be. Okay. And that's how we get people excited to vote.
So talking about the COVID funds,
yeah,
we've had an interim director this entire time that we've been dealing with the pandemic. So I'm wondering what you'll do differently, better, otherwise, with regard to that.
Well, the first thing, we have to actually have robust funding of our public health department.
Okay.
Right now, less than 2% of our city budget is funding public health.
Right.
Let me say that again, less than 2% of our budget. Now, we have a $1.8 billion budget, roughly $650 million in operating budget as well, and we don't have the right investment in public health. So we're slowing funding in our public health department and working with the county public health department, and we continue to tout ourselves as a mecca of healthcare.
Right.
Well, why can't we leverage those resources? We should have the best public health department in America.
And the residents should be recipients
of that as well. And so that is the foundational strategy we need to have, having a public health department that can start to do the hard work of tackling these structural inequities and disparities in our healthcare system.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
So we got a phone call?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hey.
Hi, you're on the headline. Hi, who is this?
My name is Rico Dance, the president of Black Lives Matter for the Deaf.
How you doing, Rico?
Hey, Rico.
Hey, Rico.
I have a question for you. All across the country, DC is the only police place in the nation who have a deaf and hard of hearing unit for law enforcement. They have all sorts of designs. They have the iPad. What is your platform dealing with people who are deaf, dealing with people with mental health issues, with law enforcement? And why don't Cleveland right now do not have a deaf and hard of hearing unit in office who do no sign like we work for the police department? We brought that to our current chief, and Chief O'Neill, she said we don't think we should have a unit for the deaf and dumb people. And I think that's very big. What is your platform on that?
Rico, that's a very important question, and I'm so happy you brought that to my attention. Number one, the culture of our police department is broken. And as mayor, it's up to me to change that culture, because the buck stops with me. And I want to make sure the voters of the city and the hardworking taxpayers of the city hold me accountable to change the culture of the Cleveland Police Department. So that's first and foremost. I'd say secondly, what we've seen in other cities across the country after the tragic murder of George Floyd is they have started to embrace what you call a co-responder model. So what does that mean? Well, essentially, instead of having 2 armed cops show up to every dispatch call that you get right now across the city, you have social workers and mental health professionals joining cops on the beat to make sure that we are addressing the root causes of crime and meeting residents where they are to address their basic fundamental needs. And I want to make sure, Rico, that we prioritize having someone inside CPD that does address those folks that are disabled and deaf. And we can study what the right model is. Every city is going to be the same. I'm going to make sure my team takes a look at Washington, D.C., and we'll welcome you to reach out to our campaign as well, have an in-person conversation if possible as well, too, to learn more. But I think it's about changing the culture. It's about rethinking our model of policing to make sure that we have built better trust with our residents, because this is all about constitutionally appropriate policing, and it's up to me as the next mayor to make that happen.
So, thank Rico. Any questions? Okay.
Yes, sir.
What about interpreter? If y'all do your press conference, will you come elect the mayor?
Absolutely.
Will
Yes.
you have
Yes.
a certified assigned interpreter? Because in DC, the mayor got.
All right. Sorry, it fell off. So,
Yeah.
so the question is about the interpreter. So, hello, hello, you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So.
Yeah.
Police have a interpreter every up the press conference right now. We have an interpreter, including your governor, Michael Wine. We want to know right now the deaf people are being lost out in the community because they don't know what's going on because our current mayor right now does not have an interpreter at all. What is your platform? Are you and your administrator, are you going to have permitted to have an interpreter in your ministry if y'all do press conference?
Absolutely, yes.
So he said he's going to have an interpreter.
What about...
And most major cities have that right now in all their press conferences.
Yeah, that's something else Cleveland Council got rid of. The city council got rid of their deaf interpreter a couple of years ago. Isn't that right, Rico?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and so we need to bring, when you talk about access to people.
Yes, correct. Because I've been fighting this over 26 years.
Yes.
Because of my deaf grandmother, and I have some family who are deaf. They used the other, before Kelly, I forget how it was that. They used to have an interpreter every Monday. So what they did is, including the council clerk, she said she would decide if the deaf person should have an interpreter under Kelly and her leadership. And right now, if a deaf person would have came to city council, okay, and it's no interpreter, what happens? ADA is coming down there and find out why was no interpreter, why did they not decide equal access? And that's why I believe in equal access for all American people, with any country, especially people like that.
Rico, we about to have to go to break, but we want to give Mr. Bibb to answer this question. So,
Rico, this is about basic social justice and civil rights. And Rico, I want you to keep fighting, and hopefully you'll join our campaign to make that fight real, because we're going to need your voice as we build this movement to change Cleveland. So thank you for your fight. All right, Rico.
All right, thank you, Rico. Rico Danson, thank you very much. Thank you, Rico. The thing about it is like, before we go to break, how can people volunteer for your campaign, and how can people contact you, Justin?
Check out our website at www.bibbforcle.com, and you want to spell out FORCLE.com. Also check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and IG at Bibb4CLE.
All right, thank you. So we're going to play a little bit of Scott Sable right now. Another American Idol from Cleveland. So when we come back, we're going to ask more hard questions for Justin M. Bibb. I'm sure he's got the answers for us here on the Headline Eye with myself, the Human T-Rex, and Simply Stunning Media Queen, Lizala Piri. We'll be right back. Peace.
Yeah, I met Rico
He's come to all our team meetings too.
Oh, okay. I met him because I was coming out of City Hall, and he said, he just walked right up to me, never seen this man before in my life.
Yeah.
Lizala, did you know they got rid of the deaf interpreter at the meeting? I was like, what? So when you were talking about access for everyone to the meetings and everyone having a voice, my next question was going to be, are we going to bring the deaf interpreter back? So I'm glad he called in. It's wild.
Why would they get rid of that in the first place?
Oh, Larry, what you saw was Ken doing sign language and me responding back.
Right.
Yeah. You're right back.
You got me have another job come election day.
I'm not fluent.
That's great. Like most major cities have that.
We don't have it in Texas. You don't get a lot of those. If you haven't already.
I was reminding him, how many weeks ago was that, Dustin? I don't remember. 7-8 weeks ago. 3 a.m. in the morning, I said to Leslie, transparency in City Hall. There
isn't any. I I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? What's going on?
Man, you had me hyped with that Kanye boy.
Yeah, I really just wanted to bring you in on that. I figured you might like it.
Wow.
What happened now? Campaign stuff.
Why would he go express skepticism of the vaccines?
The mayor. Oh, I got an automatic call from Mayor. You know, when he has those meetings, I got an automatic call today on my phone. Like, this is Mayor Frank Jackson. That man just needs to retire. He needs to retire. I'm sorry. I like the thing about it is like he needs to retire.
I think he was going to go, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? This is Larry H. Gardner of the new show that
Back on now.
We're just about. How many minutes we got, T-Rex? 3 minutes. Okay,
we're
not yet.
talking about hot subjects, spitting hot fire on WNRV 108.1. We getting on the nerve.
Grab a glass of wine, light a candle, and settle in for the best slow jams to set the soundtrack for your bedtime on Sunday Silhouettes with DJ Shotty Shot. So be there from 8 to 10 p.m. 2 hours of love on WNRV.
What's up, it's your girl, Author Ivy Lee. Tune into the Headline Eye on WNRV 108.1.
This is WNRV 108.1.
You need to do a drop.
Now
Sound
we're
effects.
about to be
Reverb.
back on.
Lots of bass.
Episodes 2, like Attack of the Clones. Once we break the bag, and you hear the crack of the phone. Get high, just to get high, just to get high, just to get high. We got music confused, spirits that we use while you eat spread rumors. We survive the last, turn to consumers. Just to get
By, just to get by.
just to get by. That's why some people gotta live in the trailer, 'cause like
Funny thing, when I first heard this song, I was out promoting Jadakiss.
What you saying?
I said, funny, when I heard this song, I was out promoting Jadakiss.
Oh,
Like when the Peabodys was here, I was a music promoter. I was a music promoter.
Oh, word.
Like when I was like all the when they was stapling the posters on the
Back
telephone
in
pole.
the day?
Yeah, I was doing that. I was me.
okay, wait a minute. Excuse me. You asked earlier what qualified you to be a radio DJ when you don't have a communication degree.
Right.
I feel like I've always known you to be into music and promotions.
Right.
And I feel like this really isn't that far of a move.
Yeah,
But for Derek to just go from dude who plays football to
Relationship guru?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
No, that
That's a lot. Just to get by. Just to get.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
2.
All right, we're back with the headline eye with with Human T-Rex, Lazala Piri, the queen of simply stunning media, and my guest, Mr. Justin M. Bibb, who is the mayoral candidate for Cleveland, Ohio. I gotta say a couple of people that are on here. Shout out to Donald Green, Mary Trevisano, my cousin Devlove France, Troy Harris, Armin Gresham of Greenleaf Entertainment, Anthony Brown, Rodney Daffersey. He said he has sickle cell. That's why he's scared of taking the COVID. I understand. Ree Coopley Presley Spears.
Oh, that's fam right there.
Yeah.
That's fam.
Ree?
Yeah.
That's what's up. Unapologetically, Brandon Thomas, Delvis Valentine, the sports reporter. Delvis, you need to come on here one day. And Ryan Puente.
Campaign manager.
Yes, what's up? Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, so the thing about it is, yep, so that was me in stereo. So, Justin.
Yeah.
We're going to have, I'm just going to ask, I'm going to hit you with the hard ones.
Yeah.
Why should people vote for you? Why should people vote for you out of all the other candidates? And with you have no political experience. Why should people vote for you?
Well, I would say this, a couple of things. Number one, I am the least experienced in the status quo. And every current candidate or potential candidate that's not Justin Bibb has spent nearly 80 years as part of the system. And look where our city is right now, right at the top and bottom of every list. Secondly, I may have never been a politician, and I'm not a career politician, but I have worked in government. I've worked in the federal government, in the House and the U.S. Senate. I worked in county government and got stuff done. And I just left RTA, a major bureaucracy, and got a whole lot done in a short amount of time. And so I think now more than ever, we need a mayor who understands how business works, how the foundation community works, how the private sector works, to truly connect the grassroots and the grass tops. That's why I'm the best candidate for the job.
Speaking of which, Latoya Witcher, Lady T, said hello to you on my Facebook. But getting back to that point, you said the least experience in the status quo, meaning that if you are elected mayor, you will not get caught up in any, we have a councilman that was indicted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Councilman Johnson. Yes, I threw your name out there. Don't ever call my show small again, sir. So, I threw some shade. Thank you very much for that. But how will you not get caught up in the status quo if you are elected?
The team I'm going to hire as mayor. You know, I intend to hire a team that understands how to get things done, that's talented in public finance, talented in operations, talented in urban planning, who've done things not only in government but outside of government.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also going to be the leader to ensure that we run an ethical administration. And I'm not going to tolerate any corruption on my watch. Because if I see it, they won't be in my administration. They're going to be fired. And I'm not going to have a problem calling out a culture of corruption as mayor of the city. It won't take me weeks to call for a resignation when I see someone doing harm and wasting taxpayer dollars, right? It's up to me as the mayor to set that tone and be that leader.
So you pretty much, you're going to put your foot down and hopefully nobody's, and hopefully nobody's under it.
Yeah.
So if somebody's under it, they're going to get crushed. So you're like, you're not playing. You like LeBron down.
We got to set the tone. We got to set the tone because the people deserve better.
Right.
The people, you know, that's what it's all about. And we got to demand better and demand more as voters, right? And if elected, I want folks to hold me accountable. I want to earn your trust and credibility over time because it's a lot of hard work out there. And I also want to say this. If anyone tells you that the next mayor, whoever he or she may be, can solve all these problems by themselves, they're telling you a lie, right?
Really?
The next mayor can be a conduit, a vehicle to see this change. But I'm going to need the ministers to work with me. I'm going to need our foundation leaders to work with me. I'm going to need our activists and Black Lives Matter to work with me, to keep pushing me to be a better mayor. I'm going to need, you know, folks like my grandma to keep fighting, right, to hold me accountable. That's the kind of government I want to see in Cleveland, because that's how we'll be able to achieve our potential as a city.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Black Lives Matter, we had a riot last year because of the death of George Floyd, because he was murdered by Derek Chauvin, and his Derek Chauvin's trial, jury selection is going on right now. We had problems with police up to Samaria Rice, the mother of slain child Tamir Rice, because he was still a child at 12 years old. How do you combat police officers who murder unarmed African-American people? as mayor, if you are mayor, how do you combat that? What would you do if, hopefully, pray to God, that doesn't happen under your watch if you are elected, but what if that were to happen?
Well, I think the problem we have right now is we don't have a structural mechanism with accountability to root out bad police officers, to make sure we don't have excessive uses of police misconduct. So what I want to do, I want to call and help execute a truly independent civilian review oversight board, because the police can't police themselves.
Right.
And, you know, the consent decree is a good blueprint for reform, but if there's no teeth around that paper, you're not going to see any real change, right? And so I think having a truly independent civilian review oversight board would truly go a long way to root out a culture of police misconduct. I also think that our training is not sufficient. You know, I think every officer inside our police department needs to go through rigorous, you know, training around racial equity and inclusion, and really understanding that policing is rooted in the 13th Amendment, slavery. I bet you most cops don't know that. No. So how do you expect to be an effective officer?
They know.
With that,
they just don't give a damn.
Right? With that context.
Well, let me kind of counter that, though, because I always say they are trained. Like we always say, they need training. They're trained. They're trained to do exactly what they're doing. And so how do you combat an entire national system of this is how we treat innocent black people, but not how we treat innocent white people when they congregate at Cam's Corner to support their white supremacy movements? Like, what can we really do to turn that around?
I think it goes back to accountability, that when you see incidences of officers using racist language on social media or using racist language against fellow officers of color, and that officer of color, if they go to the Internal Review Board and that cop gets a slap on the wrist, then that's, for them, another example where they can just get away with it, right? So I have to do everything I can structurally, internally, to have systems in place to root out that kind of culture.
And the black cop also gets abused by his coworkers for the reporting. So I'm saying, like, there's a big shift that really needs to happen.
Huge.
And I also wonder about the folks I do see on in Cam's Corner, because if you become mayor, you are mayor of the whole city, not just the southeast side. So what do we do to deal with the MAGA supporters, or do we?
Listen, I'm a son of a cop. My dad was one of the first black cops in Cleveland Heights. He also was a firefighter. Did both jobs for over 30 years. So this isn't about being anti-police, because there are hard-working public servants working in our police department, serving our community with honor. So I want to say that out the gate. But as a mayor, I also believe that people have their own constitutional right to believe in what they want to believe. But I'm not going to tolerate a culture of white supremacy in my police department either. Right? So that there's a balancing act. You can support who you want to support for president, Congress, U.S. Senate. We all have that constitutional right. Yes. But I think as mayor, I want to make sure that we're setting the right culture and tone, so we won't tolerate that kind of behavior. And it's important to know that this is not going to happen overnight.
Oh, no. It's
so
this is a 10 to 15, 20-year effort.
And we're talking about fixing something that started hundreds of years ago. Yeah, from hundreds. 400 years of slavery in this country, right? And so this is important to have that context.
You probably experienced it firsthand have you experienced racism firsthand with all the boards that you've been on?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember getting pulled over one time in Garfield Heights because I was, driving a somewhat nice car at the time, and the officer said, "Where are you going? How'd you get this car?" With my mom in the front seat with me. It's a shame. And I remember having that talk with my dad, even though he was a cop.
Do you remember why he pulled you over?
Because I was black.
You just pulled,
in a nice car.
In a nice car. He said failure to yield properly.
Just making sure. And you pulled out your...
I pulled out my registration, my insurance.
And then you have a badge since your dad a cop?
I didn't have my FOP card with me at all. Wow. No.
So pretty much...
Driving while black.
DWBB. We all have either experienced it, known it, or have known somebody that has experienced it.
My dad would get pulled over when he was a cop.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. He's a cop, though.
He was a cop. Yeah, he was a cop. And he's like, they don't know you're an officer.
Nope. Now
he had an FOP card, but he didn't have that badge on his license plate.
Right. Yeah. So this is a question that was on my Facebook Live from Lady T, who's also running. How can our residents be voided with police engagement? And do you believe there should be changes with the consent decree? And also, my question is, do you believe there should be changes with the chief of police, Mr. Calvin Williams?
So I didn't hear that first question. What was
the first one? How can our residents be voiced within police engagement? How can they engage with police?
Yeah, I mean, on that first question, my grandma started the first neighborhood watch club on our block. We got to bring back our neighborhood watch clubs and make them active partners with our police department to really have robust community policing. Secondly, on the consent decree, I think the policies of the consent decree are right and spot on. It's been the execution of those policies that I've had an issue with.
And that goes
down to leadership.
And Chief Calvin Williams.
And I'll say this about the head of our police department. As mayor, if elected, I'm going to lay out my culture of what I want, and whoever can go get along with that, great. I'm going to hold them accountable. If they can't, they won't be there anymore. I'll just say that.
So you plan on pretty much, if they can't take the heat, they need to stay out the kitchen if you're mayor.
It's going to be a new day.
They don't want this smoke.
And it's about setting the culture. And I'm going to hold every member of my administration accountable to go along with that culture. And if they can't do it, then we're going to make that decision.
Okay.
Pretty much up and out. What I like to think about it is you worked with Obama when he was Senator Obama.
Yeah.
What did you?
Cool cat, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody. Like, I think that there's a picture. And I think in my, I call her Nana, but she's not my real grandmother. There's a picture of Jesus and Obama in her living room.
And Dr. King.
Right, and Dr. King.
So in other spots too, you got JFK.
Right,
I think
right.
Plays JFK.
Yeah, he play. I mean, they do JFK like he's somewhere in the kitchen. He fine. He all right.
Yeah.
He all right. So what did you learn from Obama?
Great question, Larry. I would say I learned two things. Number one, I learned you just got to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And as a first-time candidate, that can be hard when you have consultants telling you all this stuff, when you have donors telling you stuff, when residents are telling you stuff, your family's telling you stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to realize, I have to go with the juice that got me to this point, my unique self, who is, and I can't lose sight of that, right? And I learned that very well from working for President Obama. I would also say this, I worked for him when he was in the Senate during my freshman year of college. And at the time, I was trying to figure out what's the best way to make an impact because...
By the way, which school you went to?
I went to American University in D.C.
Okay.
And, I was struggling to figure out because I was doing community organizing at the time in Anacostia in Southeast D.C., the home of Marion Barry, forever mayor of D.C., as some would say. And then I also was working on Capitol Hill, and I thought the best way to make change was to come up with legislation and the ivory tower of the Capitol, and that was the best way to make change. And so I was talking to the president at the time about this, and he said, Justin, he says, you got to get all that title stuff out of your vocabulary, right? Your aim in life should be to do something, not just be anything. And that has stuck with me to this day, and I'm about to do, and that's kind of my ethos of leadership, impact.
So instead of titles, you like to do, and what do you think of titles right now?
My mom always said, well done is better than well said.
That's right.
So,
wow, your mom's a bomb. This is going to be a funny question. Bibb is synonymous with Cleveland.
Yes.
Is Leon your cousin?
Yes, he is.
So what have you, and Leon is very, very nice because you also know her father, Dick Peary. Yeah. So what have you talked to Leon before you ran for mayor?
Yes, I have.
What did he say?
He just said, look, it's going to be a hard thing for you to do as a first-time candidate, as a newcomer, but you have the passion, you have the ideas. Just run your best race and let everything work out the way it should.
All right. That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right. This is something off the wall. Somebody brought up in Facebook questions about reparations. Do you believe in reparations?
I think it's past time we as a nation and as cities across the country take a hard look at, reparations in whatever form that can look in terms of addressing historical inequities that faced our cities. You saw Evanston, Illinois, just take a look at it. And so I think it's important for us to study what
she
that
brought
means,
it at Evanston, Illinois.
and what that means for cities like Cleveland. but I'm all about supporting policies that uplift everybody across this city. And as the mayor of a very diverse city, that needs to be my focus.
So another question that I would like to ask you about, what do you think about the stimulus package, and what do you think about what was going on as far as pushing the minimum wage still to 15 and the student loan debt forgiveness of 10,000?
I'll say this: we're past time we have a $15 minimum wage in this country. There's no way folks should be making $7 an hour in 2021. So we got to get that done. I'm hoping we get some changes on the filibuster in the U.S. Senate so we can actually get some real things done to fix this country and get us back on the right track. I'm confident that President Biden and the Senate Democratic leadership will try to get that done. In terms of student debt, look, I went to undergrad in D.C. at American. I got a law degree and an MBA, so I have student loan debt. And I think it's important for this Congress to take a hard look at relieving some of our students across the country of the burden of student loan debt.
Is that what you said?
Pretty much all. Yeah. Some.
Yeah.
So if you were not on these boards or you weren't doing the nonprofits, what is the one thing that people don't know about Justin M. Bibb that people should know about?
Yo, I'm a big music head. I was talking to DJ before, and you know, if politics doesn't work out for me in the next life, I would love to be a DJ.
You would love to be a DJ, so you would love to be
DJ J Bibb, right?
DJ J Bibb. Yeah. That sounds like a cool name for real.
We can rock with that, right? We can rock with
that. DJ J Bibb, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really into fitness, right? You know, I think one of the things that's been my saving grace throughout the campaign is working out as much as I can. I love spinning. I love hopping on a Peloton bike. I used to love going to the spin studio for cycling pre-COVID. And so running my own, cycling studio and being able to curate a great culture, the music, the playlists, good food, smoothies, I think that'd be a really cool career.
That sounds like fun.
That sounds like fun.
If the Mayoral thing doesn't work out, hey,
you have a backup.
I got a nice little backup.
Right. So the thing about it is like, you shot for mayor. Why not go run in Mount Pleasant, be a councilman, or just still do what you do? Why?
I'm an executive.
Okay.
And my strengths are a leader, setting a vision, building a right team, having the judgment to make hard decisions. And my talents, not only from my lived experience growing up in Mount Pleasant, but my executive experience, not only leading things in Cleveland, but across the country, pursues me well to be the next CEO of the city. And that's why I'm running for mayor and not council.
So, good shot. The thing about it is like, you get a black fist up for that, for real. You said, I am an executive. I am not a second-tier person.
Here's what I want to say. Throughout this campaign, folks have said, you should, go to council or be a state rep. We got to change this narrative that you have to be in politics to serve, right? I want to see folks, like my minister, serve in politics. I want to see folks that are running awesome public schools to serve in politics. I want to see people that have, started and led amazing nonprofits serve in government, because that's how we get real, systemic, long-lasting change. So we got to change this narrative about who deserves or who's allowed to run for public office in the city.
And you have to start as council, and you have to work your way up.
If you
have to go to Columbus.
And you have ideas, and you have talent, and you want to work hard, and you are all about the people, and you have the right values, it's a democracy. Anyone should be able to run for office.
Oh, pretty much like you taking advice from Obama. Don't boo, vote, or run.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You got to get involved. Yeah. You got to get involved. You got to get into the arena.
So you would be a DJ. Who was your favorite artist?
Notorious B.I.G.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You Biggie?
It was all a dream.
Oh!
There we go.
Favorite Biggie song?
I mean, I got so many. Hypnotized.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's my favorite.
Wow.
I mean,
I thought the thing. One of my favorite songs is "Notorious Thugs" with Biggie and Bone.
It's Born in Biggie, baby. It's a good song.
So pretty much, wow. So if you had the thing about it is like everybody talk everything. What is the one negative that you have? What is the one pet peeve or negative that you have that you can turn to a positive? Because pretty much this is because every time you do an interview, this is like a job interview because you are talking to registered voters out here.
I would say this. So when I worked at Gallup, he had this thing called the Gallup Strengths Finder. I don't know if you guys have ever taken it before, but essentially it's a test to identify what are your strengths as a leader. And so my top 5 strengths: activator, arranger, maximizer, responsibility, self-assurance. So my activator could be a really great thing. Like I said before, I'm all about action.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes to be a great leader, you have to take a step back, reflect, and think, and listen, so you make the right action. Because if you move too fast, you can have unintended consequences. And so that's why I'm really blessed to have a great team, like, Ryan Puente is my campaign manager, who continues to make sure that we run this campaign quickly, but being smart and thoughtful at the same time. And being mayor requires quick action, but I have to be smart about when I execute on quick action.
All right. You want to shout out your team before we go to break?
Absolutely. We got my campaign manager, Ryan Puente, with us, my director of mobilization and voter access, Ken Johnson, Ken with 2 N's.
Right.
Ken
The free one. The free one.
My campaign chairman, Bradford Davey, my deputy campaign manager, Ian Ginario. We have a whole gang of volunteers as well, mobilizing across the city, and so we're just really excited about the movement we're building.
Okay, so we're going to take a break, and this is Maziago with another new artist. So when we come back, we're going to talk more about Justin Bibb's campaign and talk to him about that. So this is Larry H. Gardner with Simply Studying Media Queen, Lazala Perry, and the Human T-Rex and the ones and twos on the headline high on nervedjs.com. We'll be right back.
Knocking them out the park. I'm sorry. You know they started out where you didn't have to pay. And then all of a sudden in the 80s it was like, oh, you know what? Yeah. Oh, you got to pay. Yeah. And I just feel like if we're talking about making things better, might mess. If I keep saying all, Justin, I'm going to mess around and everyone will only pay 10%. Yeah. And y'all will be thanking me. It's crazy.
This is like, what I'm going to hit you with when we come back is pretty much, we have you answered the police question because that was the biggest concern, especially over the summer. We had a pandemic, which is the health concern, and all of a sudden we got police officers killing it, like George Floyd, then Ahmaud Arbery. That was first, and him, Breonna Taylor. The one thing they want to do is prosecute these people because unfortunately they don't get away if I'm watching this trial closely. I'm watching Derek Chauvin's trial closely because they're talking about 2nd and 3rd degree murder. If he gets off, it's going to be very bad for the city and the leadership. And we remember the last time with all the destruction of property, and because funny thing is, my show was originally on Saturday. I was there with my pastor, Pastor Phillips of Shorehouse Baptist Church, and a couple other people. I saw the Antifa people in there. I was there. Yeah, right. So it started. It was people. All of a sudden, it went crazy. And I actually got out of there before it went nuts. And then as we were on air, because it was 3 to 5, we were on air. We heard the sounds of what was going on. So, one thing that I don't want is to happen again. We hear about the killing of the officers killed somebody in Euclid, other things of that nature. Opening, I don't believe in the reopening of these schools until next September.
Me either. Well,
because first of all, it's
what's that?
A lot of parents want to go back to.
Oh yeah, and I mean, if the teachers are like my neighbors are teachers, and they're vaccinated, but are the teachers vaccinated? Is the question. And I don't believe that. I mean, I know I have been struggling for 5 days to even find an appointment. So so it's like, but I feel like that's part of the health department. Nationally, Trump screwed up, of course. But locally, we should have more leadership just organizing for the county.
It's crazy how 4-5 just really messed up this country in the 4 years that he had.
It's bad.
I'm like, my God. Like, really?
Biden probably got in there. It's like, what the hell did I say?
Like, it was like toilet running over, you know. And you know the.
Hey, everybody, it's the Queen with the Gold Mic from Headline Eye. And you can catch me every Wednesday.
Yeah, he screwed it up. He just screwed this country up for real. And I'm really just like, they're not even trying to give Biden a chance.
Yo, bro, you
You know what? Okay, he's been in office for 60 days. 61 days.
so is your advertising. Here at
Today, I was listening to people talk about how's he going to handle his failures. And I'm like, yo! It hasn't
What failure?
It hasn't been the full first quarter yet. What are you talking about? They've already declared him a failure.
WNRV Power 1081@gmail.com today.
Because of the detention camps.
Of the new show, The Headline
With the kids.
Coming at you.
And so that's what they started out talking about, and then it moved into, how's he going to get over failing? He hasn't failed yet.
He didn't do that.
He's cleaning up Trump's.
Right, but that's how they're spinning it. So.
Speaking of Biggie, we're coming back with the remix. Like, wait a minute. Yes, we are back. Let this play out, T-Rex, somewhat.
You can see you got every candidate on here?
Huh?
You got every candidate on here?
Not every candidate. Not, I might have, it depends on who else is going to run. Because it's like Kevin Kelly is supposed to.
Bashir Jones is supposed to.
I'm
supposed to, I should say. You wouldn't have him on.
I would. It's just, it's a lot of stuff surrounding him.
Oh, there is. I'm just saying, he's supposed to run.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about that with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just naming people.
Yeah, I know. We got to have a talk, bro. This is crazy, but.
Did you hear tornado sirens for the statewide drill today?
No.
No? Did you, T-Rex? No. Did you hear the sirens for today's statewide tornado drill?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
This is Biggie and Pac was my eras. I just can't get. I love hip hop today.
You see the documentary on Netflix?
Which one?
The Biggie documentary.
The Biggie one. No, I didn't get a chance to. I'm going to watch it. I did go when Notorious came out in the movie theaters. I watched that. Yeah, I watched that. I had that hat on and everything, and my Coogi sweater.
I wore a Coogi sweater at homecoming.
Really? What high school you go? Trinity? Where'd you go? John Marshall. You know what? Don't bring it around me. You will not have it.
Are y'all ready? Let's go, man. Showtime.
All right.
Victory night.
All right. Ready?
Okay. 1 second. 3, 2.
All right. Welcome back to the Headline Eye. That was Only You by 112 featuring P. Diddy and the Notorious B.I.G. Baby. We're back with Justin M. Bibb, mayoral candidate for the city of Cleveland. Yeah, you said that, like, I'm gonna bring this up. Because you said that you, what high school you graduated
Trinity
from?
High School.
Trinity. And you had a Coogi sweater?
A Coogi sweater. Homecoming.
What?
We rocked it, me and my homie.
That's what's
I
up.
had to bring that back at some point.
Yeah, you got to bring that back.
When that fall weather hit again.
Right.
You know.
All right. So
only if you promise to do it with me.
I'll do it with you. You know what? I will definitely. I got to wear the hat though. I got to wear the biggie.
I don't know if I can pull out the hat. Though.
But I'll pull out the hat. You ain't gonna worry about that. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, man.
You know, but
I had Gators on too. I don't know if I can bring the Gators back.
Man, Gators never go out of style. I don't know who told you wrong. Somebody done told you wrong. I got Gators
Frankie
right.
Beverly and Maze concert only is when you put
right. Exactly. So yeah. So that's what was that? So. So the thing about it is that when we talked about the city of Cleveland, we talked about the budget. Now, we talked about the population of African Americans and the disfranchised voters. What is the first, if you are elected or when you're elected, what does the first 30 days of your administration look like?
Well, number one, the first thing we have to do is we need a top-down review and an audit of every single department to identify what's working, what's not working, and how to restructure these departments in a transparent and logical way. The second thing I want to do is meet with our leadership in terms of public education and identify what's going to be the path forward for us to have a world-class, innovative public school district in Cleveland, because we're losing way too many families to Beechwood and Shaker and Westlake and Chagrin because of our public school district. And I would also say, you know, having some hard conversations in my first 30 days with union leadership in the police union to really map out our plan to change the culture of our police department, because I need to have them as a strong partner in this conversation, right? And we have to work together to get this done. And as mayor, I think I can set that table to have those hard conversations.
All right. So, Lazala, you have any questions for our candidate here, or just a statement?
I think I don't have any.
No. You don't have any?
No more.
You're speechless?
Yes.
like the thing about it is what is the most personal fact, fun fact about Justin and Bibb? What do you like to do for fun, bruh? I mean, because you running all these boards and things of that nature. What's your favorite thing to do?
I love to travel. I mean, I'm a cities guy, so I love, you know, New York's one of my favorite cities. I love going back to DC when I can. So traveling when I can is great. I'm also a foodie, so get my crew together for a good meal. You know, and you know, just vibing and fellowshipping over food is something I love to do. So yeah.
So you pretty much you were raised in the Mount Pleasant area.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, the Mount Pleasant area was the Kinsman area.
Kinsman. I was raised on Dove near Union Miles, that area.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you work for like the corporations, the CDCs, the grant plan people?
Yeah. So I mean, look, I grew up in Reverend Stewart's church in World War I in Lee Harbor, Zion Chapel Baptist Church. I was baptized there. Sang in the choir. I was also in the 93.1 WZAK choir growing up as a kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, back in the day.
So you can sing.
No, I mean I can but, you know.
And who got you inspired to sing in those choirs?
My mom. You know, my mom she understood that if I wasn't busy from sun up to sundown, I was gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
And so when I left the school, I was in the library doing the Book It reading club so I can get a free pizza pizza from Pizza Hut, or I was rehearsing for the Easter speech at Reverend Stewart's church at Zion Chapel, where I was in the spelling bee or science club. Now, I got picked on a lot because I was kind of a geek, but it all worked out.
It paid off.
Mamas have that, you know, intuition to know what their babies need. And you know, I had a mom who went above and beyond to make sure I had everything I needed. I had a dad as well who gave me a lot of love and showed me the importance of hard work. I mean, this is a man who would wake up and go to the firehouse, come back, take a quick nap, and then go hit the beat as a cop.
Wow.
So I mean, you see where I get my hustle from. And then my grandma, who is still holding down the block on Dove, you know, she turned 91 last year.
You want to shout out you better shout out Grandma.
Grandma Sarah, and just got her vaccine. And you know, she don't play. You know, and the sign is still on our front door right now. It says, "I don't dial 911," with a picture with a gun. And you know, and she had that at, you know, at the height of the crack epidemic in the 90s. She did everything she had to do to make sure, look, you ain't gonna touch my grandbabies. They gonna be safe. And it's just that shelter, that village.
Did Grandma Sarah have to put?
You want to hear a funny story?
Go ahead.
So I was coming back from Vacation Bible School. I think I was 5 or 6 years old at the time. You know, I'm all high on Jesus, and I'm like, Grandma, look at my Vacation Bible School speech, right? And she hears all this, you know, stuff going on outside. And so we go outside, and she, the doughboys are in front. She's causing trouble. She goes in the house, gets her shotgun, shoots in the air, and I'm in tears. Grandma, you shot God. Grandma, you shot God. And I'll never forget that. But she don't play.
Wait a minute, Grandma, you shot God.
She don't play.
She don't play. Like, God knows.
Yeah, God knows. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
216-249-6658 to hear more about Justin and Bibb and his pistol packing Grandma Sarah.
But she makes the best ribs.
What?
Okay.
I'm a rib guy. I mean, Mount Pleasant Barbecue is my spot, but Grandma Sarah holds it down on the ribs.
Especially when you're like when I was in my drinking days. Especially when you come downtown from Millennium after a long night of hitting.
That short rib dinner.
Yeah, sauce. Right. Exactly.
Pound cake on the side.
Right.
Watch out.
I don't even finish the pound cake. Here's my story.
Yeah.
My friend, there was a little like a Chevrolet like 4-door. Me and my friend Herb Whipple used to like go downtown because he liked to hang out at the local bars like Theo's Lounge and stuff like that. Let's go downtown, be a little bit fancy, So we went downtown. We came back up to Mount Pleasant Barbecue. We got the short order dinner and the pound cake. Now his cousin Darren lived on 147 in Kinsman. So the thing about it was, Darren Ashley, shout out to him. The thing about it was, we went over there. I slept because we were drinking. The thing is that when I woke up, I ate my short rib. When I woke up, my pound cake was gone.
And he took that cake.
Like either Herb or Darren took my cake. Well, you owe me $6 to this very day. And this was 2001.
If you're
right, you cash app. Yeah, pretty much. That is not fair. Y'all done still ate my cake. Cake is gone, dang it. So you've been a part of that. How did you end up at American University though?
Yeah, I mean, my first love actually was basketball. My dream was to be the 2-guard at Duke.
Did you play in high school?
Yeah, I played at Trinity. I was dunking my sophomore year. I was on the JV squad. I didn't make varsity just yet. I go for a rebound against Garfield Heights, our rival, and I tear my meniscus.
Oh.
Now this was 2003 when LeBron was like at his height in high school, getting ready to come to the league, and he was our idol, right? So the season ends. I have an okay season, and my mom is like fed up because she's spending hundreds of dollars on shooting camps and private instruction and going to practices and all this kind of stuff. I get in the car, and she's like, "Look, I'm gonna give you the PG version, put it on the radio. You are not the next LeBron James. You got a 2-something GPA. You better get in them books and figure something else out to do." And so she's like, "You're good at public speaking. You should try out for the mock trial team." So I get so hyped up for the mock trial team that I bomb the tryout, get cut from mock trial. So, I'm in tears. I go to my locker, and I see a kid with a Wes Clark for President T-shirt on. And this was during the time of the 2004 presidential election.
Right.
So I'm like, who is this Wes Clark guy? So I go to the first event. I love his resume and bio. I ended up volunteering the campaign. Obviously, he didn't win. I got plugged into the local party working on the Kerry campaign in 2004. Then I realized I wanted to go to school in D.C. And so I got my GPA up. We prayed over my application. And I got an early decision at American. And the rest is history.
Okay.
So you got in the scholarship, or you had to?
I got scholarship. I had to pay my own way, though. My mom did all she could do. And she supported me like she could. But she was like, look, you got to do this. And, I got some scholarship. But I worked my way through school. And I worked my way through my law degree and my MBA as well, too.
So where did you take your law degree at?
Case Western.
Case Western. So you came back here to do Case Western. Mm-hmm. So how was the years in Washington, D.C.? How did they shape you for what you want to do now?
I mean, what I loved about D.C. at the time is you see this mecca of black excellence.
Mm-hmm.
How
they call it Chocolate City for a reason.
Now it's kind of like Latte City. But but it was this mecca of black excellence and seeing black professionals, lawyers, doctors, folks working on Capitol Hill, leading large companies. And so I got immersed in this my freshman year, networking at the CDC event as a freshman, right? Seeing Senator, John McCain, seeing Howard Dean, seeing, Nancy Pelosi, seeing Hillary Clinton. And I'm like, okay, right, this is what it takes to be in this world. And so it was just great training on how to navigate the forces of power, whether it be in politics or business. And it was just an awesome experience.
So the thing about it is, like, you have this awesome experience.
Yeah.
You have everything going on. You're making money now.
Mm-hmm.
But why? Well, I'm like, the thing about it is, like, you're gonna have to give all that up. What is the one thing that you don't want to give up if you win the mayoralship of City of Cleveland?
The hardest thing about running for office is less time with family and friends. Those, my mom and I, we call it Frank Lucas Sundays when we go to church. I take her to church. We go out for a nice brunch or have a nice meal on Sunday. And as mayor, it's a 24/7 job. And so I recognize it's a big sacrifice for my family. It's a big sacrifice for my friends. And so that me time is a hard thing to sacrifice, but it's well worth it to have the impact I want to have in the city.
All right, so you ain't I'm gonna hit you with the personal question. You ain't got no babies and stuff hitting, you ain't no Derek Jacks type cat. I'm just asking. We had a lot of problems,
About that. No.
All right, so you pretty much free and clear. So you an eligible bachelor.
Yeah.
Good. Because we ain't ain't no. Listen, they know like every time we have somebody like his wives and babies and stuff coming up, no more scandals. We don't want the one thing we want trust in our politicians. So so how much trust is how important is trust to you?
Trust is everything. It's the foundation of how I need to lead as a leader, and it's the foundation of that social contract between the city and the residents of the city of Cleveland. So that's to be everything that we do.
All right. So Sunday I saw you on a Zoom conference with Jerry Prim at Solutions. Shout out to Jerry and all the other people that were on there. You, Brian David Siggers, the moderator, and Chantel Brown, who's running for Marsha Fudge's OC. How important is African American leadership in this country?
It's everything, and I'm going to continue to say this throughout the campaign. But for far too long in the Black community, especially, we have focused so much on Black political power and not connected that to Black economic power. Let me say that again. Black political power must be tied to Black economic power, because when Black folks in the city are thriving, this whole city's going to succeed. Yep. You look at Atlanta, it's thriving right now. Right? Detroit's getting ready to pop and boom. And so we have to embrace the fact that we're a majority minority city. And there are great attributes in that benefits everybody. You look at the racial wealth gap that exists between Blacks and whites in this community. You look at the fact that my grandma's housing value has not recovered from the Great Recession in 2008. So that legacy asset she thought she was going to give to me as her grandson is no longer there, right? And so, I want to make sure the voters of the city, particularly the Black community, is holding me accountable to make sure that our community is thriving and that we're going to be successful. And and it's not about just focusing on one part of the community, but it's recognizing that the economic destiny of Mount Pleasant is tied to the economic destiny of Tremont and Ohio City as well. We're all in this together. So we all got to find a way to make sure every neighborhood is a neighborhood of opportunity, and that's going to be my job, my vision as mayor.
So pretty much every community is tied up. How will you get big business to bring their jobs to the city for career opportunities, not just employment, but career opportunities for especially in the African American community?
Well, the first thing we got to do, when I talk to CEOs not only in Cleveland but across the country that I would like to, recruit to invest in the city, the first thing they ask me is, what's the quality of your workforce and public education system? That's the number one driver of attracting new investment and new businesses to the city. And so as mayor, I got to do everything I can to have a highly quality, innovative public school district and make sure our workforce development system is integrated to what the industries need around talent in the workforce.
Right. Go ahead, Lasagna.
So do you have plans for what you want to do with the school system?
So one thing I want to do inside CMSD, it's a program that I've been studying a lot in Birmingham, Alabama, where as a junior or a senior in high school, you have access to a year-round apprenticeship. And the city covers half the salary, and the private sector covers the other half. Now, we should study what the right financing mechanism should be in the city of Cleveland, but the model is great because, you know, every junior or senior will have a chance to work at the clinic, to work at an Eaton, right, to work at an Oswald, and get, you know, real-world work experience. And I also want to make sure that every kid in CMSD is graduating with more than just a high school diploma, right? How can we make sure these kids have another credential? Because right now, we graduate in CMSD, you have two options, four-year college or the military.
Who hires the superintendent?
The mayor.
So Frank Jackson hired that dude that's in there now, Gordon?
Yeah.
Frank Jackson hires the CEO of CMSD and also hires the CEO of the Workforce Investment Board. Right. We currently have had an interim CEO for, I think, almost 2 years of the Workforce Investment Board. Wow. So it's not really, you know, working that well.
It's not working at all. That's the problem.
We got 50,000 in-demand jobs that aren't filled. And so I need to be nearly 50,000 jobs that aren't filled, that are available right now. The latest estimate that I've read, that aren't filled right now. And so my job as mayor needs to be how do I get all these systems that I own and operate and manage, right, to train our underutilized population and make them an asset to our company so they can be globally competitive in the 21st century economy. That needs to be my job, and they need to be a partner with me trying to solve that problem.
All right, Urban League Guild. Shout out to Billy Sharp throwing him out there. We have illiterate children in in Cleveland Public Schools in CMSD. How do you combat that? And the thing about it is like, you know, our school system has undertrained people, especially graduates. How do you as the mayor combat that?
I know there are great programs right now being done by organizations like the Literacy Cooperative that are working with not only students but adults to make sure they have the right reading skills to be workforce ready. So what I want to do is figure out how do we scale those programs and make our libraries and recreation centers job hubs where you can go into your local rec center and get that training, and we're meeting the residents where they are. That's the first idea we have. The second idea we have, I believe that every kid in CMSD needs an individualized, personalized learning plan based on their strengths, based on their interests, based on what they want to do. And that learning plan also needs to have robust after-school and out-of-school time programming, because that's what saved me, right? And without that programming,
the reading,
that's quality though. I don't want you showing up somewhere and just surfing Facebook all day after school. No, I want you to be, you know, chess club or learning how to mix records in high school or doing coding, mock trials, spelling bee, something. And you know what I intend to do as mayor is really think through how to have a children's cabinet that works with the county and other stakeholders to make sure we're investing in out-of-school time programs that work, not ones that don't, but ones that work, so every neighborhood has that same level of quality.
Do you believe that the children should be going back to school now with the coronavirus situation?
I think we need to be following all the guidance from the CDC. There have been other models where schools have opened, like Urban Community School, led by Tom Gill, like many of our parochial schools, St. Martin de Porres. And so Cleveland should be looking at those models. If they can figure it out, why can't we?
Wow. So, I mean, the thing about it is like how much constant communication would you have with the governor if you were mayor as far as, you know, doing everything?
We should be talking at least weekly or bi-weekly. I mean, I think it's important to have a partner in Columbus that I can work with. And, you know, I'm a Democrat. The governor's Republican. I'm sure there's going to be issues we disagree on. But as mayor, it's important that I have thoughtful, collaborative relationships with not only the governor, but our federal delegation in Washington as well, too. And as mayor, you know, one of the things I've been fortunate to do is I've worked with the U.S. Conference of Mayors through my past career. I've worked with the National League of Cities. I have great allies with folks like the Bloomberg Foundation as well, who do invest in a lot of work with cities across the country. And it's those relationships that I'm going to leverage and use to bring resources and dollars back to Cleveland, Ohio.
So, and you need a lot of them.
Yeah.
The thing about it is like how are you going to balance the budget that you have now? It's like pretty much last I checked in 2019, $721 million. I'm sure you have, you do numbers in your sleep because of the stuff that you've done, but how would you balance the budget so that everybody, not just, because if you go, the West Side's okay, downtown's a jewel, you go past 30th, or anywhere up the street, and the East Side is Beirut. Mm-hmm. So how do you balance, or you can't mistake it for East Cleveland?
Yeah, well, because of the state requirements, we have to constitutionally balance our budgets, and so, but what I think is, we need to look at the budget differently, right? And with the influx of money we get right now from the Biden administration, now is the time to think differently about where we're spending our dollars. And so how do I redirect more money in community and economic development, and use money from the public sector and match that money from the private sector? We're not having those conversations right now. And so I intend to think differently about how to manage our investment, because while we might have a balanced budget now, our budget doesn't reflect good outcomes given the outcomes we have. Mm-hmm. So we need to transform the entire budget process to make that change.
Right. So what would be if you are elected, or when you're elected, what would be your biggest legacy? What is it? Education, healthcare? What would it be?
I don't think there's one singular thing. For me, if elected, and if I'm able to serve 2 terms, having Cleveland being on the cover of Time magazine as America's best comeback city, changing our narrative, right? Having a school district that is retaining families, having a city in the southeast side where you can access a good job where you can walk to, where public transit is within 15 minutes of where you need to go, where there's a grocery store that sells fresh fruits and vegetables within 15 minutes of where you live, where there's a great park where you can have a barbecue or have a pickup basketball game. That level of neighborhood quality and investment should be the standard for every neighborhood across that city. And if we can get that done over the next 8 to 10 years, that'll be a success. And then you'll start to see our population grow. You'll start to see median household income grow. You'll start to see the poverty rate go down. You'll start to see the child poverty rate go down. And we will go from not being the worst city in America for black women, but it could be the best city in America.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you manage to turn the schools around and get the budget right there and the education levels back up,
the rest take care of itself.
Right. And the crime would go down. I ain't worry about getting robbed.
And the abandoned homes.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to take our last break on the Headline Eye. This has been very informative. When we come back, we're going to talk about how we can go down, donate to Justin Bibb so he can, with us. So this is Infinity Soul, Mad Love. And we have mad love for the city of Cleveland. When we come back, more Justin Bibb on the Headline Eye. Peace.
You're doing good. Just stop banging on the table.
Oh, my bad. I get really excited.
They know you're passionate.
That's that feistiness in you, man.
My bad, Joe. What's up? It's Just Crisis.
Just Crisis. This is Justin M. Bibb. He's running for the mayor. He's running for the mayor of Cleveland. What's up? What's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
How you doing? What's happening?
What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong.
What'd you say?
Milverton? Turning?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
4 years ago.
Right.
9 years?
Yeah. We need to get the schools back. We need to get the schools back. And even
Thank you.
T.
Yeah.
Lions.
All right. You playing Words with Foes?
No.
on the Lions there.
The shooter at the Colorado
Okay.
stand. I got that.
Okay.
This is fire. Man.
They trumped me.
Which
Remember I said whoever's
Right.
coordinating the vaccine should go to the Lions?
Right.
But
Yeah, they trumped.
then we had 7 days of shootings. So. Ruining my good story.
Well, the problem with, you know, the sickening part about this whole thing is that we have no. This is crazy. This is
No, this just was not plugged in. That's all. What's wrong, Larry?
Nothing. I'm looking for the guy.
Which guy? Oh, the gunman?
Yeah, the shooter. I think it was.
Colorado?
Yeah.
One of these, but
You still having? They still giving people that PPP?
You enjoying your show, Larry? Or I'm sorry, Justin.
Yeah, this is fun. I had to come back.
Are you having this much fun at other shows?
No.
No.
No, this is different.
Well, this is different. This is
experience.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, it's like, what is the? I try to make it as such because I want it to be fun, but I want it to be informative.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that same old BS either.
Right.
You know, I'm not here to do a stump speech. I'm just here to get to the real.
Right. Just I want you to have the real, and I think that's what the voters want. I mean, the John Marshall College of Law, like every judge has those credentials. Everybody has those credentials. What do you got that's gonna make me want to vote for you? Well, how can you relate to me?
That's another hit.
Oh, we only play hits.
You're not playing.
No.
No, I am not.
Did you get it? Are you still looking?
Can you find it?
I'm looking too. That's why I asked. So.
Situation. That still come on. Yeah, that ratchet souls come on. That's why everybody. I don't know if they be scared if they acting funny.
Wait, where is he? There he is. This is the guy?
What's his name?
He looks like somebody I've worked with.
Oh God.
Right. Oh no. Okay, his name is Ahmad Alili Alissi.
Ahmad Alili Alissi.
Alisa. I'm sorry, Alissa.
You got your combination for him?
I don't know the album. I'm gonna drop some singles. I got with Fame. Crazy.
You got one Rutabaga?
All right, Justin. I'm about to go off.
Oh yeah, this is the fun part.
This is the lines are the fun part. The thing about it is why what we're gonna have is he's gonna play the sound of lions roaring, and while he's playing the sound, I'm throwing the person in. Usually somebody that commits a crime or a murder or anything like that.
So Friday.
Ahmad Ali Alyssa.
Alyssa.
Alyssa. After the song, so you can listen. It's gonna I do this to everybody. So the lions they about to roar and eat somebody.
He feeds them more often than they actually eat.
This is the like Charlemagne when they had the Jackass of the Day. This is my version of the Jackass of the Day. This is feed them to the lions.
Throwback as the
All right. We ready, T-Rex?
Let's go.
All right.
Showtime.
My lions uploaded.
Lions are ready to go.
All right, we about to. All right.
Ooh, yeah. All right.
So you're saying my problems are just because I'm here. I need to move, or if you don't, if you win, I stay. But I'm just saying, that's really it's the environment.
Yeah, it's the leadership.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
All right, we're back with the headline. All right, that was my man Usher Raymond, or like Ludacris say, Usher.
That was a great album.
Right. You don't have to call.
It's okay, girl.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm gonna be all right tonight.
Right. Because I'm going to be mayor. And you ain't going to have no money.
Yes, sir.
That's because you cheated on me with Derek Jackson. fake guru having mug. We ain't gonna throw him to the lions yet. His career's probably done. It's over. It's over. Like the Cavs when LeBron left for the Lakers. It's over. We still got 2016. What were you at in 2016?
I was in Cleveland, man.
All right. Well, you was at the parade?
I wasn't at the parade. I missed the parade. I'm so sad about that. I was working in D.C. and I couldn't get a flight back.
Oh, wow. Man, I love the parade. Hopefully the Browns win. They have one too.
I was there. I was there for that World Series 7th game of the Indians, though, man. And I just thought we had that.
I did too. I'm mad right now. I'm not even. I'm like, we could have had 2 championships in one.
Wild.
Right, it would have been.
Yeah.
You know, then Trump won. Then that just went downhill from there. The hell this country has gone through. But speaking of the hell, T-Rex. Could you please bring out the big cats today? Because we have to kill someone and have to be executed. Yes, my lions. Today we are throwing to the lions Ahmad Ali Awi Alyssa. That is the Colorado shooter that shot up and killed a supermarket, killing 10 people. Mr. Alyssa, I don't care how sweet your name is, but your meat is going to be sweet to these big cats. Lions, you know what we do. It is claws and feet time right about now. You're about to get these claws. Lions, attack this punk because right now, yes, shoot him in the face, eyes, ears, nose, and throat. Doctor, kill this punk. Because he deserves every last bit of it. Lions, attack him for the names of all the 10 people that he killed and all for them families. Attack Mr. Alyssa in the face. Send the Tasmanian devils, the alligators, crocodiles, including the geckos. I don't care if it's the gecko from the gecko commercials from Progressive. Send them too. Kill this punk. Y'all done with him? The lions are full and satisfied. I thought they were full. Get back in the cage, dang it. There's no more left of them. Thank you very much. So what is the slogan? I'm calm now.
It's hard to come back from that.
Remember when Big Mama used to whoop you and then they had to answer the phone and just talk as regular? All real nice. Yeah, that's how I adopted that from my late grandmother, Ophelia Garden. She'd be talking to her church members while hitting us with a house shoe because we ate up the...
Or get that switch.
Right.
The one you had to pick.
Oh, see, that's not the fair. See, they picked the switch. I did, like, you had this, like, something like you remember them days, don't you?
Yeah,
All right. Listen, just don't eat the peach cobbler before Thanksgiving. Just don't do it. I'm just warning you right now. That's what happened.
Larry, you did it so we don't have to?
Right, exactly. I sacrificed my behind so nobody has to. You know, but I knew when I did that my ass was grass at that particular point in time. But back to what is your slogan? Do you have a campaign slogan or a mission statement?
Cleveland can't wait.
Cleveland can't wait. And I saw your video on your Facebook, and again, how can people donate to your campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. Check us out on our website to donate, bibbforcle.com. And if you want to make sure we get on the ballot, there's a link there to sign up our petition, and our campaign will reach out to you. But every dollar goes a long way to fuel the movement, particularly as a first-time candidate.
Right. So the thing about it is like a lot of people saying, well, somebody's rooting for you. Joe saying Bibb for mayor. Joe.
Appreciate you, Joe.
Cole Formacher, who's on my Facebook. I'm going to have like 80 new friends because of you right now. It's going to be over like the 5. Like, go to my fan page, Larry H. Gardner on Facebook. I swear for God. But, you know, Justin, A.O. Bridges said Justin's correct. Improved CMSD and everything else will begin to fall into place. Would that include the crime in the city? Because we had too many shootings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, you know, we have to make sure that, you know, everyone in this community has access to opportunity. And it all starts with education. It all starts with workforce development. And we can't take our eye off the ball on that.
Right. So what about the adults who have reading problems, literacy problems, who have graduated, but they still have trouble in finding the job that they want? They're not how would you help them out as well if you are mayor?
Well, it's elevating programs like the Literacy Cooperative, making sure our Workforce Investment Board has the right training that is culturally reflective and intentional to serve our residents. And you think about all the great training and resources we have at college and community college, and making sure folks know where to go, right? It's about, showing people where to go. When my grandma graduated from John Adams, she had a hard time reading. She had a hard time writing. But, she worked her butt off at Tri-C. And she made it, and it was hard. But she did it. And then she went to Ursuline and got the right academic support that she needed to graduate from Ursuline. Same thing. And so by the time she had her master's at Cleveland State, she was ready to rock. And she was off to the races. And so it's possible. We just got to make sure that, access to opportunity is equally distributed across our city, because the ability is out there, but the opportunity is not.
That's exactly what we need.
So,
I mean, the thing about it is, last thing before you go, talked about a lot of workforce development, things of that nature. The primaries are coming up, and you have a lot of people that are running.
Well. I mean, we were the only first announced candidate for the last 3 months, and the rest of the field is starting to mature. We don't know yet, but I'll say this: the fact that we were the first out the gate and remain one of the most top-tier campaigns shows that we had the courage to lead City Hall on day one. And the voters of the city need to look at courage to lead, not waiting on somebody else to make a decision before they decide to run. I don't need a listening tour. I'm gonna meet voters where they are. And if you see my campaign and you talked about this, I go on Zoom calls, right? I'm on street corners. I'm everywhere. I'm getting questions. I want people to ask me hard questions, right? That's gonna make me a better candidate, and it's gonna make me a darn good mayor when elected.
You know what? You just took like the headline. You took a shot. I usually do this to take shots, but you took a shot. I'm like because some people are offering listening tours. And the thing about it is, like, you have people in city council that want to, if you beat them, how would you work with them? Or if they don't want to work with you, what would you do if you are mayor?
Well, as mayor, I intend to work as effectively as I can, and as they want me to be working with them, in terms of setting smart legislative goals and priorities for the city. In the first quarter, in my first 100 days, I want to have a retreat with city council and city council leadership to identify what should be our goals and objectives as a city, because I'm going to need their support. I'm going to need their help. But if they don't work with me, then the voters of the city are going to, make sure that they hold them accountable too. And I have to use my political mandate and the bully pulpit of the mayor's office to force that collaboration.
So you will have no problem. You work within the system, but you will buck the system if you have to get it done.
Upset the setup. And I'm elected to serve the city, not to serve my own political agenda.
So pretty much, no matter what party affiliation that they are.
If you're about serving our people, I'm going to work with you.
So you don't care about that. Pretty much, bottom line, you're just gonna stomp. You gonna stomp it. You gonna stop them in the ground if they don't work with you.
As a mayor, it's about solving problems. No one cares if you're a Democrat or Republican when the potholes messed up. No one cares if you're a Democrat or Republican if there's no high quality snow removal, if the snow's not getting plowed, right? It's about good leadership and effective execution of leadership. That's what this is about.
Okay, so I.L. Bridges said that, Kelly now wants to start a listening tour. Nobody wants to listen to Kelly, and that's Kevin Kelly of Cleveland City Council. Hey, Kevin, you can still come down here, and sit in the hot seat. You're like, but you answer questions and everything. So who is your, with all of this knowledge that you have and with the Most High and everything, with that, what do you want to see the city of Cleveland in the future?
Say that question again.
What do you want to see the city of Cleveland in the future?
I want us to be the best city in the Midwest. I want us to eventually become one of the best cities in America. I want us to be known as a leader and not a laggard when it comes to entrepreneurship and minority-owned businesses. I want us to be a leader in embracing new models of public education. I want us to have an amazing lakefront we can actually use, right, instead of an airport that no one uses, right?
Like yeah.
I mean, you go to New York, you go to Chicago, you go to Baltimore's harbor. They figured it out. Yeah. And Cleveland has been a place where good plans go to die. We got a plan for everything, but we're terrible at execution.
So you want to pretty much execute every plan, especially for minorities, to make sure that...
We have to try. We have to try. Now, will I make mistakes? Yes. I'm not going to be a perfect mayor. I'm not going to be a perfect candidate. But one thing you'll get from me, I'm going to try.
The one thing that the city of Cleveland president is one you said is honesty. So you're going to be perfectly honest with the public.
I'll be transparent and honest.
That's all we can ask for. So is there one thing that you want to say before we get out of here? Because... I thank you for coming in here, and you are invited back to come on the Headline Eye, pretty much.
Listen, thanks for having me. By the way, I love the pre-soul food fellowship. Lucky I didn't get the itis before I came on the radio.
Right.
But this campaign, you asked me what my slogan was before. It's really about a sense of urgency. Cleveland can't wait. We waited for far too long, and until we change our relationship with rejecting the status quo, we will never be able to achieve our potential as a city. The status quo is a cancer eating away at our greatness. And I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I'm tired of the status quo mentality. So this campaign is building a movement to change that, because I can't wait, we can't wait, and Cleveland can't wait.
All right. Lizala, you have anything to say?
Thank you. I'm impressed with your answers. I'm impressed with your presentation, and I wish you the best.
Well, thank you so much.
Justin?
Yeah, brother.
Thank you very much, brother, for coming out. Actually,
what are we closing out with? I need a dope song.
Well,
pressure's high.
First of all, we are closing out. We are closing out with Bone Thugs.
Cleveland Zone?
All right, Cleveland Zone, Bone Thugs. We're closing out with that. This is yours.
Thank you.
I do apologize about one of the straps is broke. Yoda, like the thing about it is I picked the Mandalorian for Yoda is because it's something new. It's something advised, but it's about an older character. So Baby Yoda is for you because the simple fact of the matter is, even though Baby Yoda was a baby, he had a lot of power.
I appreciate that.
The thing about it is that, you also got something in there for your office, wherever you're at, as an organizer. And, a big thing about it was because you on the go all the time. I'm not saying that you stink. Hey, stop. I'm not saying that you stink, but the thing about it is, stop it, T-Rex. But the thing about it is that, you have to, the thing about it is, you want to go all the time. You got to get up and shower, get up and going. So I hope that helps you out. And again, thank you coming on the Headline Eye.
Thank you, man.
No problem. We'll be back, and then hopefully we can close out with this song. So, yes, I just revealed it. This is actually Bone Thugs in harmony with Phil Collins. It's called Home, talking about the city of Cleveland, which you want to run for. So hopefully you'll make it home by winning, passing the primaries to the general election. Wish you well. Godspeed. God bless. If nobody tells you that they love you today, I do. Be prepared for the Big Hef Show tomorrow on NervDjs.com. Me and Lizala are out. Shout out to the Human T-Rex and everybody that's listening. And shout out to Charlene, and thank you very much. So peace, love, and hair grease. We are gone. We out.
All right.
Awesome. Thank y'all.